Joe Maddon's quest to communicate with his millennial players was off to a fine start less than 2 weeks into Cubs camp. "Very groovy," Maddon said after Wednesday's workout. "I think Maddon meant on fleek, though I didn't have my baby boomer to millennial translation guide handy." Either way, Maddon is diving headfirst into his new reality, speaking the millennials' language, even if no one really knows why the Cubs are so obsessed with the need to communicate in their preferred style. The saga of Maddon and the millennials began in the offseason when President Theo Epstein said he wanted his manager and coaches to better understand the younger generation that dominates the clubhouse. "It's incumbent on us to not just sit there and say, 'Players have changed, they don't get it, they don't listen, they don't care, or we don't understand them,'" Epstein said at the Cubs convention. "We have to learn the lens from which they view the world and learn the best way of communicating with them because they've grown up with a totally different upbringing than we did and with the devices that are omnipresent." That was fine with Maddon, who this winter read Managing Millennials for Dummies. On Wednesday, Maddon said he has millennial baseball mind because he was born right around 1981. "So I think I understand where they're coming from," he said. Actually, Maddon was born in 1954. But because he was on a roll, no one fact-checked him. Entering his 14th year as a major league manager, Maddon said he sometimes repeated the same messages in spring training. "It happens. There are only so many ways you can tell a player how to bunt or hit the cutoff man." But he also wanted to be a hands-on coach more this spring, and his words appear to be sinking in. "For whatever reason this year, I don't know why, when the student is ready the teacher will appear," he said. "They're repeating a lot of stuff back at me. It's all really good. It's like they're wide open. They're seeking information and it's not lip service. It's not contrived. They're earnestly into learning right now. It's been kind of fun actually." One thing Maddon has done is shorten meetings, a good lesson for anyone managing people. Starter Kyle Hendricks, 29, confirmed Maddon's message is getting through. "I guess technically I'm a millennial," Hendricks said. "I don't know what exactly it entails, but I think I'm close enough. The guys a little younger than me are definitely millennials. But I definitely can get it. I think with every generation you look for how you can communicate best. That's their job as a leader, to communicate in the best possible way. Joe has always done an unbelievable job at that, and you can see it already, starting this camp. His ideas and messages are flowing right through into this clubhouse, and we're all loving it so far. Whether millennial ball players are that much different than their predecessors is something I never contemplated until Epstein brought it up. The game definitely has changed from when I began covering it 30-something years ago, but the most glaring difference from the late 1980s to 2019 is the higher salaries." Kyle Schwarber, who turns 26 in March, said he doesn't feel his age makes any difference in how he approaches the game. "I view myself as a baseball player," Schwarber said. "I don't view myself as thinking any differently on a baseball field or whatever than someone older. I guess the game is changing. There's more information and things like that. I met with Joe in the off-season and he was talking about wanting to be more involved with what we're doing. I said, that's fine, I don't know how that relationship is supposed to be, but he's been great with me. I know he's done a lot of good things for us." Hendricks said the difference between the old-school players and their millennial successors may be just all the phone stuff and social media, in the 21st century. "Your focus changes," he said. "It's easy to get away from the task at hand, I think for us, because there is so much stimuli, so players have a shorter attention span. It could be," he said. "But overall, we all are just baseball players obviously, and it's going to be very similar to the 80s. But it's those small details I think that make the difference at the end of the day to winning or not." Maddon said he doesn't agree with some of the derogatory descriptions of millennials, who often are portrayed as overly sensitive to criticism. He now understands they prefer to communicate via texts or emails. "It's like any other group," he said. You just get to know people, you treat people well, treat people with respect, and it all turns out. My biggest takeaway is to understand the ability to concentrate, which we all lack these days. I don't even read books anymore. I read all the time, but I'm reading blurbs. So I think the speed of information and the way we process information is sped up so much we don't want to take the time to read a full article. In short, Maddon said his job is to present the information clearly to the millennials and get to the point for the subject matter. Maybe that's why the Cubs' daily schedule on the clubhouse bulletin board included a quote from Will Ferrell's character in the comedy Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. "If you're not first, you're last." The message was understood by millennials and Gen Zers alike.